Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. My wife disappeared on her birthday. That was the moment everything finally broke. But the truth was, things had been off long before that night. My name's Nick Holloway. My wife Miranda and I had been married for 5 years. No kids, a good apartment downtown, a joint savings account, plans to buy a house next year. From the outside, we looked solid. Then Miranda became close with a woman from her office named Vanessa Reed. At first, I didn't care. Everybody needs friends. But after a while, it stopped looking like friendship and started looking like influence. Miranda changed fast. She started staying out late during the week, started dressing differently, more expensive clothes, nails done every week, new perfume I'd never seen before. Then came the attitude. "You ask too many questions lately," she told me one night while standing in front of the bathroom mirror. "I asked what time you were getting home. And I came home, didn't I?" That answer stayed in my head. A few days later, I checked our savings account while paying bills. We were supposed to have around $32,000 saved between us. The account had dropped under 19. I sat there staring at the screen for a full minute. When Miranda got home, I asked calmly, "What happened to the savings account?" She kicked her heels off near the door. "What do you mean?" 13 grand disappeared in 6 weeks. She rolled her eyes immediately, too fast, like she expected the question. "It's called spending money, Nick. We've been traveling. I bought stuff for work. Vanessa and I booked a spa weekend." "A $13,000 spa weekend?" That hit a nerve. "You always do this," she snapped. "You act like I'm stealing from you." "I didn't say that. I asked where the money went." "I'll show you later. I have receipts." She never showed me anything. That was the pattern for the next month. Excuses, delays, deflection. I didn't argue much. I watched. People get careless when they think you're not paying attention. Then came Miranda's birthday. I booked a table at Blackstone Grill, the kind of place with low lights and $100 steaks. She loved that place. I bought her diamond earrings 2 weeks earlier and kept them hidden in my desk drawer. The whole day, she barely looked at me. She kept smiling down at her phone while we had coffee that morning. At one point, I asked, "Something funny?" She locked the screen fast. "Vanessa sent me something. Must have been real good." Miranda smirked. "Maybe." That answer told me more than she realized. I got to Blackstone Grill 20 minutes early. That's how I was raised. If you make plans, you show up on time. The hostess walked me to a corner booth near the window. I ordered sparkling water and checked my watch. 7 o'clock, then 7:10, then 7:25. No Miranda. I called her once. Straight to voicemail. Called again. Same thing. By 7:40, the waitress gave me that look people give you when they know you're getting stood up but don't want to say it out loud. "You want a few more minutes?" she asked carefully. "Yeah," I said. "Give it 10. I texted Miranda once. "Where are you?" No response. That's when I called Vanessa. She picked up on the third ring, loud music blasting in the background. "What?" she shouted. "Where's Miranda?" A short pause. "She's fine. Put her on the phone. She's busy right now." "With what?" Vanessa laughed lightly. "Relax, Nick. It's her birthday. She's out having fun." Then she hung up. I sat there another minute staring at the table. That was enough for me. I stood up, left cash for the water, and walked out. The drive home was quiet. Not angry, quiet. Focused quiet. When I got home, I noticed Miranda's suitcase was gone from the closet storage shelf. That stopped me cold. I walked into the bedroom and checked inside. Her black designer dress was gone, passport drawer open, makeup bag missing. She planned this. That changed everything. I opened our bedroom safe next. The emergency cash envelope felt thinner. I counted it twice. $3,000 gone. I leaned against the dresser and laughed once under my breath. Not because it was funny, because suddenly the last 3 months made sense. Around 8:15 the next morning, I heard heels outside the apartment door. Miranda walked in carrying a leather overnight bag. Hair perfect, makeup fresh, same dress from the night before. She froze when she saw me sitting at the kitchen counter. "Oh," she said casually. "You're home." I looked at her for a second. "Where were you?" She dropped her bag by the wall. "Out. You disappeared all night." "I'm 30 years old, Nick. I don't need permission to go out." There it was. No apology, no explanation. Just attitude. I stood up slowly and walked toward her. "You're right," I said calmly. "You don't." She looked surprised by that answer. Then I pulled my phone from my pocket. "But you made one mistake." Her face changed slightly. "What mistake?" I unlocked the screen. "You let people post you online." Miranda's expression changed the moment I said that. Not guilt, not fear yet. Confusion first. "What are you talking about?" she asked. I didn't answer immediately. I just opened Instagram. I had found it at 3 a.m. when I couldn't sleep. I wasn't even looking for drama. I was just checking. Vanessa's story had everything. First clip, champagne glasses clinking, loud music, a rooftop view of the city skyline. Caption, "Birthday night done right." Second clip, Miranda laughing in a hotel lobby. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, expensive place. No doubt about it. Third clip. That one was the real problem. Miranda sitting in a private lounge booth at a resort outside the city. A man next to her with his arm around her waist. Another leaning in across the table. Drinks everywhere. Miranda wasn't just there, she was in the center of it. I handed her my phone. "Start here." She took it, squinting at the screen. "That's not," she started. "Keep watching." She swiped. Her face tightened as she saw herself laughing on video. Then the arm around her waist. Then her hand resting on a man's chest like she'd known him for years. She went quiet. I took the phone back. "That resort is 2 hours away," I said. "You didn't go out. You left the city, you booked rooms, you stayed overnight." "We just went for drinks," she said quickly. "That's it." I tilted my head slightly. "Drinks don't require a hotel room." Silence. I opened my banking app. "Now, let's talk about something else." Her eyes narrowed. "What?" "Money." I turned the screen so she could see. Multiple withdrawals, cash, small amounts at first, then bigger. She stepped back slightly. "I didn't steal anything," she said fast. "6 withdrawals over 2 months," I replied, "totaling $11,000. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. I kept going. "Elevate Lounge, $350. Azure Spa, $400. A restaurant I've never heard of, $600. Her breathing changed. "You said those were girls' nights," I continued. "You said spa weekends. You said Vanessa." "They were," she said quickly. "They are." "Then why are you in a hotel suite with 2 men holding you like you're dating them?" Her voice dropped. "It's not like that." That line again. I nodded once. "Then explain it to me, Miranda, because I'm starting to see a pattern, and I don't like what it means." She didn't answer right away, and that silence told me more than anything else she had said that night. She finally sat down on the edge of the couch like her legs stopped holding her up. "It started small," she said. I stayed standing. "Small how?" "Just dinners," she said. "Vanessa knew some guys. They were successful. Finance people. They paid for everything. It wasn't a big deal." I crossed my arms. Nothing is ever a big deal until it becomes one. She looked up at me. "You don't understand how it felt." "Try me." She exhaled hard. "They made it easy. Nice restaurants, nice places. They were fun. It wasn't work. It was just hanging out." I nodded slowly. "And the money?" She hesitated. "They liked company. That's all." "That's not an answer," I said. Her eyes flicked away. "It wasn't supposed to turn into anything serious." "Did it turn into something serious?" "No." Too fast. I stepped closer. "Miranda." She swallowed. "It was just attention. That's all." I let that sit for a second. Then I opened my phone again. "Let's stop pretending." I pulled up bank records I had printed earlier that morning. I dropped them on the table in front of her. She looked down. Her face changed instantly. "That's not," she started. "Cash withdrawals," I said. "Not spa charges, not card swipes. Cash, taken out in chunks. $11,000 gone from our future." Her voice rose slightly. "I was going to put it back." "When?" Silence. I leaned forward just a little. "You don't accidentally take $11,000 in cash, Miranda." She stood up fast. "You're making it sound worse than it is." "No," I said calmly. "You're doing that yourself." She pointed at me now. "You act like I cheated on you." I didn't blink. "Did you?" That stopped her. She looked away. I waited. 5 seconds. 10. Then I nodded once. "Okay." I turned away from her. Her eyes snapped to me. "Where are you going?" I walked past her into the bedroom. "I'm done talking." She followed me. "Nick, wait. We can fix this." I opened the closet and pulled out another bag. I dropped it on the bed. You're leaving." Her voice cracked slightly. "You're serious?" I looked at her. "Completely." She shook her head. "This is my home, too." "No," I said. "It's not. You're not on the lease." That hit harder than anything else I had said. She stood still. "I made a mistake," she said quietly. I zipped the bag. "Multiple mistakes." Her eyes filled now. "Nick, please." I carried the bag back to the living room and set it by the door. "This is over." She didn't move. I opened the door. "You can go to Vanessa's, or your sister's. I don't care. But you're not staying here tonight." For the first time, she didn't argue. She just stood there, like she was waiting for me to change my mind. I didn't. She left 2 hours later. Didn't say much after that. Just moved slowly through the apartment like she was trying to find an angle that would change my decision. There wasn't one. When the door finally closed behind her, the apartment felt quieter than it should have. Not peaceful, just empty. I didn't sit down. I started working immediately. First thing I did was open the joint accounts. Everything was still there except what she already pulled out. 11,000 gone, clean withdrawals, no explanations left behind. I moved the remaining funds into my personal account and closed the shared access. Then I called the credit card company. "Cancel any authorized users," I said. The operator didn't ask questions, just processed it. After that, I changed every password we shared. Banking, utilities, streaming, everything. No emotion, just steps. By morning, I had already contacted a lawyer. The response was simple. I had done everything correctly. The money situation was messy, but legally contained. Then something unexpected happened. A call came in from a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer, but I did. "Nick Holloway?" a man's voice asked. "Yes." A pause. "My name is Lucas." That name made me stop. "I think we need to talk about your wife." I leaned back in my chair. "Go ahead." He hesitated before speaking again. "I was at the resort that night." I stayed quiet. "I didn't know she was married," he said. "We were told she was single." I let that sink in. "Who told you that?" I asked. "Vanessa," he said. "She said it was just a group of single women hanging out with friends. Nothing serious." I exhaled slowly through my nose. "So what happened?" Another pause. "I didn't realize the situation until after," Lucas said. "Until I saw a post that got shared around and someone mentioned a last name. I looked it up. And now you're calling me." "Yes," he said. "Because I think you deserve to know the truth." I stood up and walked to the window. "Tell me everything," I said. What he said next confirmed what I already knew, but hadn't fully accepted yet. The nights weren't just parties. They were arrangements. Not officially, not legally, but in reality, yes. Dinner, drinks, trips, attention, money, gifts, access. And Miranda wasn't just present in it. She participated in it. When he finished talking, I didn't feel anger. That surprised me. I just felt clarity. "Did she tell you she was married at any point?" I asked. "No," Lucas said. "Not once." I nodded slowly, even though he couldn't see it. "All right," I said. "Man, I'm sorry," he added. "I didn't know." "I believe you," I said. "This isn't on you." I ended the call. I stood there for a moment, phone still in my hand. Then I made the next decision. I called my lawyer again. "Start the divorce process," I said. No hesitation, no waiting, just execution. The divorce papers were filed the next morning. I didn't wait for emotion to settle. I didn't need time to process. There was nothing to process anymore. The facts were already clear. By noon, I got the first message from Miranda. It wasn't an apology, not really. It was panic dressed up as regret. She called 3 times. I didn't answer. Then she showed up at my apartment. I saw her through the security camera before I opened the door. Same coat she always wore when she wanted to look serious. Hair tied back, no makeup. Different version of herself than the one in those videos. I opened the door but didn't step aside. "What do you want?" I asked. Her voice was low. "We need to talk." "We already did." I didn't know it would become this. I let out a short breath. "You didn't know what?" "That it would ruin everything." I looked at her for a moment. "It didn't ruin everything," I said. "It exposed it." She shook her head quickly. "Lucas called you, didn't he?" "Yes." Her eyes tightened. "He misunderstood everything." I laughed once, not because it was funny, but because it was predictable. He explained it better than you did. That's not fair? I leaned against the doorframe. Fair doesn't matter anymore. She stepped closer. Nick, I made a mistake. I didn't think it would go this far. I was just having fun. Fun, I repeated. Yes. I nodded slowly. You were having fun while I was building a future with you. I never meant to hurt you. But you did. Silence. Her voice softened. Please don't do this. We can fix it. I'll cut Vanessa off. I'll stop everything. I shook my head once. You don't stop something like that after it's already become your lifestyle. Her face tightened. So that's it? You're just done? I looked at her directly. You were done first. You just didn't tell me. That hit her harder than anything else. She tried again. I have nowhere to go. I didn't move. That's not my problem anymore. Her voice cracked. Nick. I stepped back and started closing the door. Your choices built this, I said. Now live with them. She raised her hand slightly like she might stop the door, but she didn't. The door closed. I locked it. For a few seconds there was silence outside, then footsteps, then nothing. I went back inside and sat at the kitchen table. No satisfaction, no anger, just finality. A week later, I heard through a mutual friend that Miranda had moved back in with her mother. Vanessa cut contact. Lucas's circle distanced themselves completely once everything became clear. The lifestyle disappeared fast when nobody was paying for it. That part didn't surprise me. What surprised me was how quickly the noise ended. No more calls, no more explanations, no more chaos, just silence. And in that silence, I started rebuilding. Not my relationship, my life. And this time, I didn't share the foundation with anyone who didn't respect it. 2 months passed before I heard her name again in any real way. By then, my life had already shifted into something simpler. Work, gym, home, no chaos, no checking phones, no guessing games. Then one night, I got a message from Lucas. Not a call, just a short text asking if I had 5 minutes. I told him to call. He did. Nick, he said, I wanted to close this out. Properly. Go ahead, I said. There was a pause on his end, like he was choosing words carefully. After everything blew up, I did some digging. Vanessa's group wasn't what they said it was. I figured that out already, I replied. Yeah, he said. But I also found out something else. I stayed quiet. Miranda wasn't honest with anyone, not just you, not us either. What do you mean? She told us she was single, but she also implied she was financially independent. No obligations, no partner. That was part of the setup. I leaned back in my chair. So she lied to both sides. Yes. Lucas hesitated again. And one more thing. One of the guys she spent time with. He confirmed she stayed overnight at his place during that resort weekend. I didn't respond immediately. I didn't need details. It was already confirmed in my head long before he said it out loud. All right, I said finally. I just thought you should know, Lucas added. I didn't want you thinking this was just some misunderstanding. It wasn't, I said, but I appreciate the call. We ended the conversation there. After I hung up, I sat there for a while without moving. Not angry, not even surprised. Just done. A few weeks later, I saw her once, outside a grocery store downtown. She looked different. Not the version I remembered from restaurants and nights out. No polished confidence, just tired. We made eye contact for maybe 2 seconds. She stopped walking. I didn't. I kept going straight to my car. That was the last time. No confrontation, no words, nothing left to say. Months later, the divorce was finalized. She didn't contest anything. There wasn't much left to argue over anyway. I kept my savings, rebuilt what was damaged. Later that year, I booked a trip overseas. First time I had done something just for myself in years, and life slowly returned to something steady. Then I met someone new. Her name was Elise. No games, no disappearing acts, no hidden versions of herself. She worked as a teacher, paid her own bills, spoke directly. One night, I told her the full story. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she asked one question. Do you trust people less now? I thought about it. No, I said. I just don't ignore patterns anymore. She nodded, like that made sense. And it did. Because the truth is simple. People tell you who they are early. Most of the time, you just don't want to believe it. Miranda taught me that, and I didn't need another lesson. Thank you for watching.